Hello, good morning and welcome to this, the WP Builds weekly WordPress newsletter. This is number 67 and it covers the WordPress news for the week commencing the 10th of June 2019 and it was released on the 17th of June 2019. Just a couple of things before we begin. If you wouldn't mind heading over to the WPBuilds.com website, there's a few links on there. The first one is the subscribe link, and if you click on that, you'll be able to access our mailing lists. We've got two of those. One of you just brings you updates about the news that you're listening to now, and the podcast, which we release every Thursday. But also we've got a newsletter simply for deals. If I hear about a WordPress plugin or theme or such like deal, I immediately write it up and send it out to you in a very simple plain text format. Also, come and join us. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. Join our 2,000 strong Facebook group where you can get lots of help for your WordPress issues. And we push everything out to YouTube as well. And you can join our Slack channel, although the Slack channel and the Messenger updates are simply that. They're just little updates to tell you when we've produced new stuff. The other one to mention is wpbuilds.com/deals, which is in the main navigation as well. We've added a new deal this week. The guys over at WebArcs have decided to allow you 25% off WebArcs security. That's 25% off the monthly bill on all plans. So you can go over to wpbuilds.com/deals to get that. There's heaps of other plugins on there. WP Admin Pages Pro, Lifter LMS, Project Huddle, Social Web Suite, Groundhog, WP Ultimo. The list goes on and it's growing all the time. So even though it's not Black Friday, you can make use of some significant discounts. wpbuilds.com/deals. I would also draw your attention to wpbuilds.com/win. That's the URL for our competitions. And we've got one at the moment. We've got Split Hero. Win one of 4 licenses for Split Hero. Competition runs until the 30th of June. You just have to enter your name and email address and share it on social media. And there's the chance of winning 2 annual licenses, 1 6-month license and 1 3-month license. Plus, I failed to mention this in the past, every single person that enters that competition will, after the competition is over, whether you win or not, get a 20% discount coupon. So there's not a lot to hold you back. The only other one that I would mention is wpbuilds.com/advertise. If you would like to have your product or service put in front of the WP Builds audience, you can certainly do that. We have banner ads and we have audio inserts as well. And somebody that's done that is Kinster. The WP Builds podcast is brought to you today by Kinster. Are you tired of unreliable or slow hosting? If so, check out Kinster, who takes managed WordPress hosting to the very next level. Powered by the Google Cloud Platform, all their plans include PHP 7, SSH and 24/7 expert support. And you can migrate today for free at kinster.com. Just one thing to say before we launch right into the news, and that's to say if you are heading next week over to WordCamp Europe, please make the effort to come and find me. You can locate me on Twitter at WP Builds, or you can post something in the Facebook group, and I'm sure I'll find it. It'd be really nice to hook up with you and meet up with some of you face to face. Okay, let's get on with the news. Right, the first couple of articles come under the banner of WordPress Core. The first one is over at make.wordpress.org and it's entitled WordPress 5.2.2 Release Candidate 1. And this is very simply to say that we have a new release candidate for WordPress 5.2.2, as I've just said. It's very minor. There's not a real great amount of interesting stuff in there. It's bug fixes and things like that. You can go and have a look at this article. It's things like dashboard elements don't always have clear focus states, tab orders, that's been fixed, an RTL bug, wrong navigation arrows in media modal, extra border is displayed at the bottom of help sections in Firefox. It's things like that. So if you're very keen to test this out and help the team, go over to that page and you can find out how you can do that. But minor update, but we'll have the official release tomorrow by all accounts, Tuesday the 18th of June. So watch out for the latest edition of WordPress heading your way. Next up, we have an article on the WP Tavern entitled Guttenberg 5.9 brings major improvements to block grouping, introduces Snackbar notices. So there's 2 things really to say here. We've now got extra capabilities allowing you to group and ungroup blocks inside container blocks. The article says once placed inside a group, the blocks can be moved up or down within the group using simple up or down controls. So that's very nice. Nested blocks have also been improved so that users can click through to each layer to configure each and navigate to the deepest nested block. And I think this is quite nice. We've got this new idea called Snackbar notices. Now, apparently this was taken from material design. And the idea here is that rather than have a sort of permanent notice which appears at the top of the page, for simple things like saving, publishing, and so on, a little notice is going to pop up at the bottom of the screen. It's going to just sort of hover up into view, and then it's going to disappear a few seconds later. You've seen this probably all over the place, but never in Guttenberg, and it looks really good. It gets out of the way really quickly, and it doesn't use up any of the UI. It's right in the bottom left-hand corner, and it just goes away. So I think that's a really nice feature. This update to 5.9 also contains 24 bug fixes for desktop and mobile experiences and so on, and slight improvements in performance, going from 4.9 to 4.8 seconds loading. So that's all good. Okay, let's move on. So the next few articles come under the banner of community, and the first one is just to draw your attention, as I did a moment ago before I started reading out the news, that WordCamp Europe is happening in Berlin this coming week. It's happening from the 20th to the 22nd of June, so there'll be an awful lot of talks and things. Your Twitter feed will no doubt be inundated by this stuff. I'm going to be there, so please, if you fancy reaching out to me, you can come and find me at WP Builds is my Twitter handle, but also you can post something in the Facebook group or something like that. And it'd be nice to meet up with you. But yes, very, very excited about this. It's the biggest word camp that's going. About 3,000 people signed up, and they're expecting about 90% or so of those people to turn up. So very exciting. Go and check out the attendees page and check out the schedule to see what it is that you want to get involved with. Speaking of WordCamp, WP&UP and WP&U Dev have put out a series of podcasts. I say they have. I'm involved with WP&UP, and we've put out a series of inspirational, very short little podcasts telling WordPress and WordCamp stories in the run-up to WordCamp Europe. And we've got about 10 of them out so far. There'll be a couple more to follow, but if you go to the link and click on it, you'll get to the podcast section of the WP&UP.org website. And if you click on any of the ones with orange thumbnails, then you'll be able to hear it. And some of the people are people from our WP Builds community. So that's really nice. The next article is over on TalkMag, although I also link to it on Bleeping Computer as well. And this is to say that major issues with WordPress VIP Go causes sites to go down. Last Tuesday, WordPress VIP Go, which is kind of like a real high-tier WordPress platform for very large sites. So, for example, things like TechCrunch and WooCommerce, Rolling Stone, BBC America. Well, all of these sites went down, and the default theme showing a succulent was to be experienced on many of these sites. It's important to notice that this is nothing to do with WordPress itself. There was no fault there. It was simply to do with one of the partners involved in the hosting. But, some of these major sites going down, it obviously does raise questions of trust. They were very quick to fix it. I think within a matter of hours, everything was back up and running. But obviously, anything like this will probably get into the headlines. Clients and things will see the word WordPress and think, oh, goodness me, something's wrong with my website. Well, of course, if you're hosting things yourself, this, of course, wasn't the case, and there was nothing to worry about. But nevertheless, it can happen, and it was fixed very quickly, so that's good news. Moving on to WordPress Spanish translation team now has meta sites, apps, and top 200 plugins 100% translated. This again is on WP Tavern. It is to say that the Spanish WordPress community has hit the remarkable milestone of translating, a significant amount of stuff. So the top 200 plugins are 100% completed with no pending translation reviews. This article goes on to explain why this is the case. The Spanish team is the biggest with nearly 3,000 contributors, followed by German with 2,400. And that obviously helps, but also the protocols that the team have put in place using read-only Slack channels and things. This article goes on to explain how that's been very helpful. It's cut down on all the noise, but a very remarkable milestone for the second most popular language for WordPress. So that's absolutely fabulous. I love to see this stuff getting tied off, and it means that those of you that are speaking in Spanish can be confident implementing and using WordPress going forwards. Being a former user of Drupal, I'm quite keen on this next article, again on WP Tavern, entitled Drupal Gutenberg 1.0 released, now ready for production sites. So the Gutenberg module for Drupal, created by Frontcom, has reached 1.0 status, which is rather nice. That means that it's ready for production use. It's being used, it's been downloaded something like 12,000 times and has been used about 500 times on production sites. There's a couple of little caveats. Various things don't work. It's using an older version from May, Gutenberg 4.8, I believe, something along those lines. Reusable blocks don't work, but I had real great hopes for Gutenberg in this regard, and I'm pleased to see that the Drupal guys are moving forward with it. They are also shipping it with the Gutenberg Cloud, which sadly in WordPress terms doesn't seem to be getting much leverage. The idea is that you can store a whole library of blocks and download a whole pre-made bundle of blocks from the cloud. That's been put in, so that's really nice, and I'm just pleased to see Drupal getting on board with this, and obviously, give it some time. I wonder, apart from the fact that the way that you build websites is entirely different, perhaps the UI for clients going forwards on those two CMSs will be very similar, making the transition from one to the other a little bit more seamless. This next piece comes from WP Engine, and it's called WP Engine Dev Kit. It says a WordPress local development environment and build toolkit that seamlessly works with WP Engine and encourages better, faster code. It sounds to me as if this is a little bit like Local by Flywheel. It describes itself as the all-in-one WordPress Dev Kit. It includes a local development environment, SSH gateway access, easy push and pull deployments to WP Engine, Genesis CLI commands, and other tools for building and debugging great WordPress projects faster. You can download this for Mac or Linux, nothing on the Windows front right now, but I haven't used it. I can't say whether or not it would be something that I would use, but it's there, and if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can sign up to get yourself onto the beta program to test it out, because apparently that's what it is right now. But an interesting move by WP Engine, trying to make it easier for their clients to push and pull things from their own platform. Moving now to the JavaScript for WordPress conference, which you can find at javascriptforwp.com. This is an online conference from July the 11th to the 13th, 2019, and it's 3 days of workshops, talks, and there's a contributor day as well. The lineup is amazing. It's completely filled up. There's 4 tracks running concurrently for the whole day on the 12th of July. And the prior day to that is the workshop day, so that's the 11th. And then there's the contributor day helping with documentation and so on. It's completely free to register, so if that's your bag and you're into learning JavaScript deeply, go check it out. Okay, the last one in the community section comes from David McCann, who is a very valued member of the WP Builds community. He's often in the Facebook group giving helpful advice. He's released a YouTube video called Guttenberg Block Editor. It's about 13-14 minutes long, and in it he shouts out some gotchas for people who are trying to do columns. He's installed various solutions, including the Gutenberg Core columns and Cadence and Ultimate add-ons as well. And he goes through all of the problems that he's had trying to get things to work. And there's an awful lot of them, like images disappearing upon save, things not working in the way you'd expect, plus icons being difficult to hover over. And it's just a really thoughtful, nice video. So anybody who's thinking of playing with Gutenberg and trying to get columns to work, go and watch this video, because David's done a great job of saving you the headaches of trying various things out. Okay, let's move right along to plugin theme news. First one, WP Tavern again, entitled Justin Tadlock proposes idea to solve common theme issues. The theme review team is inundated, and it's very difficult to get your theme accredited and put onto the WordPress.org repo. So Justin has proposed the idea of creating standardized packages on the theme review team GitHub repo that authors could reuse. The idea being that each theme kind of reinvents the wheel every time, and if there was standardized packages for just about anything, then this could save an awful lot of time. And what he's proposing is that at the moment, nothing is off the table. If you've got any ideas around this point, if you're a theme developer and you can think of anything which could be standardized and everybody could use to save you and everybody else a whole bunch of time, then this could move forward. I mean, it's very ambitious. It would require an awful lot of cooperation from all the different theme authors, but in theory, I think it's a really nice idea. And of course, then it would lessen the burden of trying to authorize things to go onto the WP.org repo, because we'd all be using these standardized packages, which would be automatically authorized. A new feature from WooCommerce now. This is entitled Harness the Power of Blocks with WooCommerce Bookings Availability. They've got this new plugin, and the idea is that you have a block which you can drop into your Gutenberg pages or posts, and you then get the option to show your availability. So obviously, an example might be if you are, a hairdresser or something, and you've got a calendar and you would like people to see your availability, but you want to put it on various different parts of your site. Well, you drop it in with this block, and now you've got a couple of different options. You can show a calendar view, so people can see the available slots all listed in the particular days of the calendar month view, or you've got the schedule option as well, where it just shows the dates in a list format, and you go down and you can book. So you need WordPress 5.0 or higher, and you need WooCommerce Bookings 1.14.5 or higher, but nice little add-on there. Yoast are now on version 11.4, as you can find out by clicking on the link in the show notes, and the article can be summarized as follows. Yoast SEO 11.4 is out today. This release features loads of structured data improvements. We've improved the way Yoast SEO schema works with AMP, plus we've enhanced our FAQ blocks and added them to the graph. I would urge you to go and check it out if you're a keen SEO expert. Go and check out what's been added into Yoast 11.4. Right, the next one is over at WebArcs. It's entitled Source Code Analysis Tool for WordPress Plugins and Themes. This is possibly a little high level for many of us listening, but what they are trying to do is provide a code analysis tool for WordPress that has the ability to identify directly exploitable flaws such as SQL injection, stored cross-site scripting and such. You've got to do this with the command line. There's a GitHub repository, and the plugin will scan source code, and you can identify local system path, WordPress plugin repository links, or a web location to the zip archive. It returns registered admin actions, AJAX hooks, function loads at admin init hook, and vulnerabilities that were found in source code analysis. Like I say, it's a little bit high level, but over time I think they're hoping to evolve this tool with contributions from the community to make all of us a little bit more safe. So if you're into your security, then go and check this one out. Right, next up we've got PowerPack for Beaver Builder, who have an article entitled Introducing Login Form Module and Header and Footer Builder. Very simply, that's what it does. There is now an option if you're using Beaver Builder and PowerPack to style the login form. You can make it look really very, very remarkably different from the default with the usual Beaver Builder controls. And they've also added the option to site-wide change the headers and footers. This is not like Beaver Thema where you could do it on a sort of per page basis. This is a site-wide option, but a nice update, adding some significant capabilities to PowerPack. Anyone who's dabbled with the idea of building their own theme may have been put off by the complexity of that task. Well, there's a tool called Pinegrow which enables you to build just about anything really. It doesn't require WordPress, but they've now got this option to convert stuff that you build in Pinegrow to a WordPress theme. It takes all of the heavy lifting and the PHP wrangling and that knowledge away. You have to learn the UI, which is a little bit complicated, but I think it's certainly significantly easier. I've not tried it. I don't know how easy it is to use or how good the output code is, shall we say, but it's there, it's an option, and it's getting spoken about a little bit this week, and it might be something you want to look at. And there's a bit of an offer going on where you can get a lifetime update option, so maybe worth going and looking at it. Our friends over at Project Huddle have released something quite interesting this week. It's called Sketch Sync. It's in beta at the moment, and it says seamlessly sync your sketch designs with Project Huddle without any saving, exporting or uploading. You link your sketch workflow, your sketch designs to Project Huddle, and upon save, everything is available in Project Huddle. I'm not a heavy design user, so this probably wouldn't make sense for me, but if you are using Sketch and you're using Project Huddle to try and show those design iterations to your client, this looks like a bit of a slam dunk. Very nice integration. Well done, guys. And the last one is over on iThemes, the last one under the plugins and themes section, that is, over on iThemes, and it's called WordPress Plugin Roundup June 2019. And this is just simply a post where they go through a whole bunch of plugins and they tell you what has been changed. So it's a little bit like what I'm doing now, only with there's quite a lot in there. I've not really read too much about it, but if you're interested in seeing what's altered over the last month, this might well be something you want to look at. So go check it out. The next two pieces of news fall under the banner of security. The first one is actually a link to a post that I put up inside the WP Builds Facebook group. So if you're not a member of that, you'll have to be accepted into the group. But it's entitled Security Announcement from PowerPack for Beaver Builder. And basically I copy and pasted an email, but I couldn't find this online, so I've stuck it there. And it's about the fact that PowerPack for Beaver Builder has experienced a problem. They can't quite get to the bottom of it, but if you go into WP-content uploads BB PowerPack directory, there should be no PHP files in there, but in some cases there appear to be files coming in there. Certainly index.php is being found. We're not quite sure yet how this is happening, but the idea is that you should go and update to 2.7.1 if that's the case, and delete any PHP files. I've got a whole bunch of sites, and I did actually find a couple of examples where this was indeed there, so it might be worth checking out if you're using PowerPack for Beaver Builder. The next one, again, I'm not going to go into the details of the security news, except to say that the Hacker News website is saying new flaw in WordPress live chat plugin lets hackers steal and hijack sessions. So if you're using that plugin, WP Live Chat Support, I would urge you to go and click on that link and see what's to be done about it. The next couple of bits come under the banner of WP Builds, so it's shameless self-promotion. The first one is to draw your attention to the fact that we put a new blog post out this week. It's entitled Working When There Are Other Things to Do, and David Wormsley and I chat about all of the distractions that we face in our working lives and how we overcome them, or not, as the case may be, how we give in and just basically waste a load of time each and every day. But it's a nice little chat, and we've had some nice comments about it coming through, so maybe worth a listen. The other thing to mention is that we've got a couple of webinars coming up. I haven't got the exact dates yet, but we've got Pete Chineri talking about website UX, and we've also got Craig Hewitt, who's going to be showing us a new feature in his podcasting platform, Castos, in which automatically your posts will be translated and leading to better SEO. You may or may not know, but I now translate all of the posts that we put up. So this will be translated, and this word that I say right now, and this one will all get translated and go in a transcription underneath the post. And it's for accessibility, but also it's very helpful for SEO. So 2 webinars. If you go to wpbuilds.com/webinars, you'll be able to find out about those as soon as they are, as soon as I've put them in the calendar and made them ready. Okay, we're on to the non-WordPressy news. This is over at Biteable.com. It's entitled Facebook Live. Does it really have better organic reach? If you've ever toyed with the idea of doing live Facebook posts where you put yourself on screen and talk with your audience live, well, it's quite interesting. They put together this very, very complicated process of judging whether or not this was better than just writing regular posts. And I think the answer is a definitive yes. So if you've ever pondered with the idea of putting Facebook Lives out, or you are using Facebook Lives, it might be worth reading this to sort of give yourself some encouragement, give yourself some justification for doing that, because it would appear that they are very effective, and no doubt Facebook know that. I'll bet all of us at some point have used or heard about Dropbox. Well, The Verge tells us that Dropbox is getting a massive overhaul, wants to be the center of your workflow. Well, when Dropbox started, it was a simple proposition. One folder, everything goes in there and gets synced to various devices. Well, the landscape has changed, and now Dropbox has retitled its new offering The New Dropbox, ingenious wording there. And the idea is that it's going to try to become the central repository, the central app app that you do absolutely everything in. So you'll be able to do things like create Google Docs and edit Google Docs, interact with Slack, Salesforce, create Zoom meetings, all inside this one platform. It looks really interesting. There's also like a task management tool in there as well. So we'll see how this works out. But if you are a heavy user of Dropbox, or you want one place to combine absolutely all the tools that you're trying to wrangle, Dropbox is trying to be that. So maybe go and check this article out to see what you make of it. I'll keep this next one extremely short. Again, on The Verge, it's called Firefox's new logo has more fire and less fox. Firefox now have a new logo. I really like it. I can't see the fox, but I can see the fire. Go and check it out. See what you think of it. And finally, the very last piece of news that we've got for you this week is on The Guardian. It's entitled Doctored Video of Sinister Mark Zuckerberg Puts Facebook to the Test. This is just breathtaking. There is a video which has been created and put on, I believe, Instagram, and it's Mark Zuckerberg talking to the camera, only it's not. None of it's real. You only have to listen to the dialogue to understand that Mark Zuckerberg would never have said these words. But the voice itself is not convincing, but the video is. If they had married up somebody who was very, very good at imitating his voice and put it on this video, I would have absolutely thought it was real. And I suppose in the future, the state of things to come. We've come to distrust photography because of Photoshop, but video was immutable. Nobody could fiddle with video successfully. Well, now it appears those days are over. So in the future, how are we going to trust anything? Goodness me. Right, that's all I've got for you this week. I hope that you found that news interesting and informative. If you did, please show your appreciation. Go over to WP Builds and leave us a comment or something, or give us a nice review on Apple Podcasts. That's always very helpful. The more stars you can manage, the better. The WP Builds podcast was brought to you today by Kinsta. Kinsta takes managed WordPress hosting to the next level. Powered by the Google Cloud Platform, your site is secured like Fort Knox and runs on speed obsessive architecture. You get access to the latest software and developer tools such as PHP 7, SSH and staging environments. And the best part, their expert team of WordPress engineers are available 24/7 should you need help. And you can migrate today for free at kinsta.com. Again, thank you for joining us this week. Please come and join us again on Thursday for the regular podcast. If you're in Berlin this week, please come and find me at WP Builds on the Twitter. And also, write something in our Facebook group, and I'm sure if you tag me, I'll find it. If I don't see you in either of those two locations, then please come back this time next week and join us. We will, of course, as always, be putting out a live version of this newsletter, so join us for that as well. That'll be at 2 p.m. UK time. Okay, bye-bye for now.